Hold on a minute, Jack. I gotta turn down the music on my end. What is going on, everybody? Hello. Welcome to Money Shift News in the morning. Glad to have everybody here. Folks that are watching afterwards, shout out to Chaz in Plainville, Connecticut. He's the real homie, for sure. Real friend of the stream. All right. Now we got to get up our internet browser here, and we will be ready to go. Why are you giving me trouble today? Oh, yeah, the jams are good. The jams are back. We're just chilling today. All right, perfect. Perfect. And I'll move myself. No, I will move myself to the other side. There we go. Perfection. Almost. Perfect. Jack says, "What is the beverage today, Jack?" We're going through a new process. We're doing drip coffee. We're using a Chemex, very old school. Love it. Super good. So that's what we got. We got a blonde coffee in here today. So nothing too crazy. All right, guys, if this is your first time tuning into the live stream, welcome. MoneyShift is an automotive news platform, but we also do long-term review style videos where we cover a car for about 5,000 to 10,000 miles, telling you everything you need to know about that vehicle. We've done so with the Maverick XLT EcoBoost. We've done so with the Maverick Lariat Hybrid, and we will continue to do so with more vehicles in the not-so-distant future. I got an update on that later on in this video, and I'm going to have a dedicated update video probably come out at some point later on today. But the purpose of this show, this live show, right, is to not only talk to you guys, the MoneyShift crew out there, but it's also to go over automotive news. We got a lot of news pundits that go over mainstream news, right? But not a lot of folks that go over automotive news in a live format. So if there's anything you want to talk about, just hit up the comments, slap that like button, and we will definitely get to talking about it in this episode. All right. So we are on, let's start off. We're going to start off a little bit different. We're going to go over to Motor One first. Okay, and let's work our way through some automotive news here, see if there's anything worth calling out. Okay. Peugeot 408 teased ahead of June 22 debut. It's going to be sold in Europe and China, so that doesn't really pertain to us here in the States. So nothing too crazy to worry about there. Dacia is introducing a new badge that's pretty cool. GLC that is testing. Wild rumor claims McLaren is making an SUV after all, and it'll be electric. Interesting. This we gotta see. New Tiguan that is electric. This is just another ID SUV, right? Cadillac considered offer... I don't believe that. We don't believe that, do we? Cadillac considered offering a 16-cylinder Escalade. I need to read this quote. Escalade product manager David Scavone told GM Authority, "At one point, we even talked about a 16-cylinder Escalade." Yikes. That, I'm sure, yeah, okay. That's bullshit. Let's be real. Jack says, "Do you think that dealer markups will stick around for the distant future? How long do you think these dealers will get away with it? And what do you think will end this era?" So that's a good question, folks. So as you know, right, automotive supply right now is in a weird place. Depending on the vehicle you're looking for, whether it's a Ford Maverick, whether it's a Lightning, whether it's a whatever, you're going to be hard-pressed to find it at a dealer. In fact, for me to secure my Maverick Lariat Hybrid, the second one that we got in the Maverick File series, it took me calling 100 dealers to even locate one, never mind one that was at sticker, right? So this is going to probably happen for the next year or so at least. One of the big reasons why dealers are able to get away with this is because supply isn't as high. So even if demand tapers off slightly, because supply is so low, they can still justify charging the added dollars that they do, right? Even if demand halves, we're still not getting a lot of vehicles. And because of that, they can still have this addendum on their vehicles in some markets. Guys, I've even seen addendums on the Mitsubishi Mirage, which is supposed to be one of the cheapest vehicles available in the United States. So what ends this, right? So Jack asks, what do you think will end this? It's two things. One, it's a potential recession that reduces demand exponentially because folks are worried about, their jobs, their positions, their livelihood. So the last thing you think about in your mind is, oh, how can I buy this car, right? So that's one. Two, it's supply increases back to previous levels, right? Where if supply goes back up to levels, now dealers have inventory. Now they can't charge a premium because there's inventory out there. You can just go somewhere else to make that same deal. But there actually is a third option, okay? The third option is brands and OEMs pivoting to a Tesla-like model. Now, Ford has already talked about doing this with their electric vehicles in order to skirt this sort of notion of an addendum that a lot of folks are doing, which gives a lot of Fords a bad rap. The Machi has seen it. The Bronco has seen it. The F-150 Lightning has seen it. Hell, even the Focus RS saw it when that car first came out. The GT350, all these other machines, right? So what a lot of brands are doing, and Jack, this sort of answers your next question, right? Do you think manufacturers will start to crack down on this? Example, Hyundai technically not allowing markups, even though pretty much every dealer does it. That's how they get around it. You order the vehicle online. So you can go to the dealer, test drive it, sit in it, feel it, understand if you like it, see if it's for you, read some reviews, do that whole thing, but then you order it online. You do this, okay? You go to Polestar.com, right? And you configure your Polestar 2, and you order it. No markup, no nothing, right? You just go through this whole process, and then when you're done, you say, oh, I'm going to finance it, and then you just hit the continue button, and you're all set. Bang, you order it. I'm done with it. And that is how companies are going to get around this, because they can say all they want to dealers, right? Hyundai can say, hey, we don't want a dealer to do this. But at the end of the day, the dealer's going to do what the dealer's going to want to do, right? So companies like Tesla, companies like Polestar that are starting to get into this, notion of being able to order from the comfort of your own home at the price that you see on the website, right? Like I know this is hard to see with chat and everything, but right now I can order a rear-wheel drive Tesla for $46,900. I could do this, right? Like we can go through this whole process. I can hit continue to payment. I can hit order with card, and bang, like I can just enter my info, press that button, and boom, I got a Tesla that is scheduled for order at the cost on the website. I don't have to pay these exorbitant fees that you see for the exact same car online, right? So if I look up Model 3s here, okay, look at this, 46.3, 65 G's for a Tesla Model 3 long range, when I can just do this. And yeah, sure, I'm going to wait for it a little bit. But I can pay 56 G's and get a brand new one, right? So that is how dealers fight this, or excuse me, that is how the consumer wins, right? Is if OEMs start to go down this model where you can just order this shit right online. That really is how they beat it. But good question, Jack. I think that's how we get there, if I got to be honest with you. Folks might not know what Skoda is as a brand. Skoda is a subsidiary of the Volkswagen Audi group. So a lot of their cars are shared with Volkswagen models. This car right here, the Fabia, is shared with the Golf. And Skoda just unveiled a new version of it. This is the RS Rally 2. Now this is a dedicated rally machine, all-wheel drive, 300 horsepower, 316 pound-feet of torque. Uses the same Volkswagen Audi group 2.0 liter 4-cylinder turbo engine, and it just looks the frickin' beans. This thing looks so awesome. What do you guys think? Do you guys like this style over a Golf? You tell me. I'm curious to hear what your thoughts are. Jack says it would actually be cool if they kept their dealer network, but instead of buying at the dealer, you just go on your phone, type the VIN, purchase the vehicle you just test drove. Yeah, I mean, I think we're headed towards something like that, a lot of dealers past the addendum portion, right, aren't making exorbitant amounts of money on these machines. they aren't, right? Like, they're making a decent amount of money per, but a lot of their bread is being made on accessories, is being made on extended warranties, is being made on service. So dealers will still be able to operate at a high capacity, right? Because we're always going to need dealer service. Now, that might shift in an electric world, but we're still going to need some attention to be paid to these vehicles. So that's still there. That's still going to be a thing. Jack says, love that. If they sold that instead of the Golf in the States, I'd buy it. Yeah, it's a beautiful looking thing. The Fabia is a good looking car. Jack says, also, you mentioned the Mach-E. You got to talk about that recall. Yeah, 100%. We certainly will get there. Dyno shows the 2023 Acura Integra makes more power than initially reported. Acura put the 2023 Integra on the dyno to see what it could do. So they put it up to a Dynapack dyno. Now, folks, we've talked about the Acura Integra in the past, but let's do a summary, okay? For folks that may have just joined in, first off, welcome. Shout out to y'all for tuning in to Money Shift in the Morning live. You guys are legends. I appreciate you and hope everyone is doing well. The Acura Integra is a rebodied version of the Honda Civic Si, okay? It leverages the same 1.5-liter turbo engine. It leverages a lot of the features that the Civic Si has. In fact, it takes away a lot of features, meaning we don't get heated seats in the Civic Si because we get them in the Acura Integra, et cetera, stuff like that, right? But one of the big things folks said was, ooh, what about the power? It's only got 200 horsepower, guys. That's not a lot of horsepower at all. And you'd be wrong, by the way, because I don't know if you guys remember, but 200 horsepower used to be a metric F-ton, right? But now what we're seeing is a lot of companies are underrating their vehicles. So this car is reported at having 200 horsepower, 192 torque at the flywheel, but on the dyno, it made 222 horsepower and 210 pound-feet of torque at the Dynapack, which is pretty impressive. And that means it would put it close to 200 horsepower at the wheels, not at the flywheel. That's impressive, okay? 200 horsepower at the wheels is a solid number. If you guys want to watch this video, maybe let me see if I can share a link in the comments for you guys. If you want to watch this later on. How can I do this? How can I do this? I think I know how to do this. I think I know how to do this. Okay. 200 horsepower. I do know how to do this. Just like that. If you guys want to watch this video, I just dropped the link in the comments. For those of you that are watching this after the fact, you can check out the comments and see that video there. That's pretty cool that that this thing makes the power that it does. I am definitely excited to give an Integra a chance. I, unlike the majority of the automotive industry, actually sees a reason, sees a purpose, and is genuinely excited by the Acura Integra. So, that's me. That's me. All right. Oh, I like this view better. Sorry, guys. I'm pulling up. YouTube has an analytics view, and I actually really like this. Okay. Got it. Jack says, my Mazda has 186 horsepower. It's not fast. 200 used to be huge power, but these cars didn't weigh nearly as much. So I get that, Jack. I hear you, right? Cars are a lot heavier than they used to be, but what I will say is cars also generate power a lot smoother than they used to. 200 horsepower, 200 torque today is very different than a 200 horsepower, 200 torque car of the 90s, right? Those cars were peaky. Those cars were just in a different overall space, So kudos to Acura for actually over-delivering, if you will. Let's see what else we got. 2023 AMG G63 Squared first look. Okay, so this is just a new version of the 4x4 Squared, which is portal axles, the whole nine. This is an extreme off-road version of the G-Wagon, but let's be honest, this is a Beverly Hills model, first and foremost. Second, it is a Dubai model. Let's see what we got for power. Okay, here we go. Reviving the zany 4x4 Squared in the G-Class's new chassis. Upgrades were largely thanks to a set of exotic portal axles, which use gear sets at the end of each end to offset the wheel hub from the axle center line and open up vast airspace between the wheels. Doing that shifts the axle and its differential northward while yanking the wheel hubs of the last generation model. Pretty cool. These things are wild. These things are wild. Let's see if they reveal cost at all. We have absolutely no idea how much this thing will cost. The old one started at $225,000. That's a $500,000 car. Full stop, it's a $500,000 car. Polestar is unveiling 2 new models, which, by the way, guys, we got to talk about one of them. I haven't had the chance to cover it. Polestar is famously thought of as a Volvo, but it is a separate entity, okay? They're all electric vehicles, unless you get the Polestar 1. Then it is a hybrid. Let's take a look so I can show you guys what these cars look like. This is the Polestar 1, one of the most beautiful vehicles on the market today. Absolutely gorgeous. Plug-in hybrid, dual motor, the whole 9, roughly 150 Gs. Yeah, 155. Then the brand has the Polestar 2. This one looks more like a Volvo S60, plays a middle ground between a Tesla Model 3 and a Model S. You can get it for as low as $48,000 and as high as $60,000. These are good-looking machines. But now Polestar has introduced a third model, the Polestar 3. And I got to be real with you guys. I got to be honest with you guys. This is one of the most attractive SUVs I have ever laid my eyes on. I really do think this is a good looking machine. So shout out to Polestar. Let's see if we can get some details on this. Or let me see if I can get you guys more pictures of it before we talk about the Polestar 5 that is coming out. Yeah, here we go. So, like, overall, very good-looking machine. Like, look at that. Look at that rear end. Are you kidding me? This is a good-looking car. This is a render, right? Because the only picture that Polestar unveiled is the photo that I just showed you guys. But that leads us into the Polestar 5. Okay? Polestar has announced that they will be at the upcoming Goodwood Festival of Speed, bringing an early production prototype of the Polestar 5, which is the EV flagship sedan. This will be in full camouflage, will likely look just like this, and it'll give us hints at what we can expect for the brand's flagship model to be, because if we look at what they have right now, they have a sedan, a base sedan, they have a flagship coupe, and they're going to have a base SUV, but they won't have a big, nice flagship sedan. So that is what this is going to be. It's going to do battle with the EQS. It's going to do battle with the Model S. It's going to do battle with the Lucid Air. It's going to do battle with the Taycan, the e-tron GT, right? It's operating in a space. And this is what folks think it is going to look like. Let's take a little zoom in here for you guys. Holy, that is attractive. Jack says the trend of the lights down on the bumper that I'm starting to see is hot, and I don't disagree. Let's take a nice cold, hard look at this thing. And I want you guys to picture this as a, let's call it $70,000 base sedan. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is worth it? Is this a vehicle that demands a price premium similar to a base Lucid Air? Because that's likely what it's going against, right? Now let's see if we have any details on the overall setup, okay? The prototype features all new bonded aluminum space frame, 800-volt electrical system, which means, folks, charging, read charging speed, okay? And it'll be capable of bi-directional charging, which means that not only will it be able to accept charge, but it will also be able to give charge, okay? The Polestar 5 is expected to make up to 872 horsepower, which is nutso. Nutso. Polestar has outlined how the new design language is inspired by sharks and airplanes. That's pretty cool. I'm very excited to see what this looks like. Octo Pentacle says looks cool. Totally agree. Welcome, my dude. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. Jack says if this actually sold for 70K-ish, this will sell like hotcakes. I mean, guys, if we quickly check the competition, right? The first chief competitor is obviously the Tesla Model S. And if we hit that order now button and configure a long range model, you're looking at a price of $99,000. The second competitor is from Audi USA. And if we look at their models, okay, I think it's even more expensive. The RS e-tron, where are we? Come on, is right here. $102,000. Porsche.com. We're looking at even more expensive. The Taycan Configure, $86,700, and that's a single motor rear wheel drive model. And then Lucid Air, I believe, is $87,000. So if they're able to price this thing in the 70s, they're undercutting their competition pretty substantially, right? The Air Pure is, I believe it's $87,000 now. I think they just upped the price by $10K. Yeah, $88,400. So if they can do this for $70 for the Polestar 5, I think they got a good option. Yes, Jack, they were like 70 Gs a bit ago, but one of the biggest differences between a Tesla Model S now and a Tesla Model S when they were 70 Gs was their range. If we go back to Senor Elon's website, the new Tesla Model S long range is a lot better than the previous base model Tesla Model S. You're looking at a car that gets almost 400 miles of range, right? Which is over 150 more than what a base Model S used to get. So it's definitely got that going for it. Okay, we got something that is important. You can hear the 2023 F-150 Raptor R. Now, if you guys are astute Money Shift in the Morning listeners, you'll know, and we've talked about this in the past, Ford was not going to sit idle as the Raptor R started to do its thing. Or excuse me, as the TRX started to do its thing. It was going to have a piece of that pie, and it is doing so right now. If you guys follow Mike Levine on Instagram, you will have seen this video. Jim Farley also showed this as well. Let's pause the music and let's take a listen to the new F-150 Raptor R. Sounds pretty good to me, if I gotta be honest. Pretty good to me. I know that video started off a little shisty. Jack says, a friend of mine refused to trade his old one for the new one because it didn't come with the V8 anymore. Maybe this will make him change his mind. Yeah, 100% it will, Jack. Interior alone, it's worth the upgrade. Never mind the fact that now they're introducing the V8 again. So, as you know, you'll be able to have two options, either a twin-turbo V6, which is what is featured in the base model, or a V8. Now, what V8 they are using is going to be interesting because Ford, in the past with the F-150 Raptor, has used a series of different V8s, okay? So, what V8 are they going to use? Now, it is going to be interesting. In all likelihood, and this is where things get a bit spicy, the engine that is in here is the 5.2-liter V8 supercharged right out of the Shelby GT500. Now, in the GT500, it makes 760 horse, 625 pound-feet of torque, but they're likely going to change that tuning to better fit the F-150 platform, so we'll likely see a higher torque number, lower horsepower number. But yeah, it's going to be that engine right out of the GT500, which is a solid engine. Now, that might mean it makes a little bit less horsepower or less torque than the TRX, but it likely will have similar performance because the F-150 weighs a little bit less than the TRX. So definitely excited to see that come out. Unsure when that'll be the case, but we'll definitely see it soon. So what would you guys do? Would you guys take a Ford F-150 with the supercharged GT500 engine, or would you take a Ram Rebel TRX with that supercharged V8? Curious. You guys tell me what you would do. But right now, we got to go over a pretty substantial issue. Ford Mustang Mach-E issues major recall over battery issues. Now, let's talk about it. The 2022 Mustang Mach-E had software issues that caused its 12-volt battery to not be recharged using the main battery system. Now, so that was a previous issue, okay? That was last year, okay? This year, the main battery is being shut off due to issues with repeated DC fast charging and wide open throttle operation. Effectively, they're saying that if you floor it constantly, or if you solely use DC fast charging to charge your Mustang Mach-E, your main battery could shut off. Just turn off, okay? Now, for those of you that haven't had an electric vehicle, those of you that don't know how an electric vehicle works, let me tell you, okay? If your main battery shuts off, that is the equivalent, okay, to your engine exploding. You can't go anywhere. You can't move. You can't do anything. All right? And it affects nearly 50,000 Mustang Mach-E's. Now, 50,000 is a crazy number, and I'll tell you why. If we compare that to Alfa Romeo's sales in 2021, okay? Alfa Romeo sales figures in 2021. Alfa Romeo in 2021 sold, drum roll please, 18,000 cars. So if we take the last 4 years of Alfa Romeo sales, that is the equivalent of Mustang Mach-E's that are being affected by this, which is nutso. CNBC stated it was a stop sale. Ford clarified that that wasn't the case, but was instead a dealer hold due to an active recall. The problem actually gets worse. This recall, like I said, affects 48,924 Mach-E's, including some that haven't been handed over to the customer. The repair Ford has issued for the recall is a software update to the secondary onboard diagnostic control module and the battery energy control module. And this is performed through an over-the-air update. Unfortunately, it won't be ready to roll out until next month. So if you are one of 50,000, if you are one of the 50,000 Mustang Mach-E's that is affected by this, you will not be able to do anything till next month. You're going to be out of a vehicle for up to 30 days, which is crazy. Owners can take their Mach-E to Ford to do the update. And we're good to go. So that is a pretty big issue. Ford has seen some lingering issues with the Mustang Mach-E. Unclear if this is going to affect Lightning owners, but for now, that certainly is very serious. So we'll see. We'll see. Hopefully Ford can figure that out, because I definitely want the Mustang Mach-E to be successful. All right. Hopefully the stream is piping in good, guys. YouTube says we got an excellent connection, so let me know if you see otherwise. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again. Appreciate this. For those of you that haven't been a part of the stream before, this is a interactive news show, so if you guys got some comments, you guys got some highlights, definitely comment away, and we will answer any and all questions that you have at all times. Sorry, Jack. So let me define that a little bit further. CNBC, when they came out, okay, with this report, said that it was a stop sale, meaning that dealers could not sell new Mach-E's till they figured this out. But that is incorrect, because this isn't just a stop sale. It also affects vehicles that have already been sold. That's why this isn't just a stop sale. You know what I mean? All right, now we got to talk about something that is super cool. Toyota unveiled a lot of concepts for new battery electric vehicles, one of which was this FJ-inspired, adorable small EV SUV. And the adorable Toyota Compact Cruiser concept has actually won an award. It has won the 2022 Car Design Award for Concept Vehicles, which is awarded by Auto and Design magazine in Milan. And with that, we were actually able to get some new photos of this machine. So let's take a look at this, and you guys tell me what you think about it. I think this is one of the coolest EVs out there. I think they need to make this, full stop. There's the team that put this design together. Look at it in green. Ah! It looks incredible. It looks incredible. There's no word yet whether Toyota will turn the compact cruiser into a fully realized production vehicle, but we hope that some of its now award-winning design DNA filters into whatever EV Toyota SUVs it has in the pipeline. Here it was. This is when we first saw it. It was in, you know, the slew of everything. 4x4 electric little thing. Shout out to Toyota, now an award winner. Hopefully we can see this thing in production. Let's see, do the fine folks at Motor Trend have anything else for us today before we move on? Ooh, they do. We got to check this out. I don't know if I'm going to get like DMC8 or whatever it's called over this, but we got to watch the Forza trailer. We got to talk about it. Would only the painted part be open? Yeah, right. Who knows? Oh, let's watch this first, actually. So this is the intro into the Polestar 3 that we talked about earlier, and then we're going to watch the Horizon trailer. So actually, let's stop it right there. That's the Polestar 5, guys. That sedan that we just saw, the one that Octo Pinnacle said looks cool, the one that Jack said he would buy if it was 70 grand. That is it. There it is. Look at that light bar. That is beautiful. That shape is gorgeous. That is the Polestar 5. Anyway, let's keep it going. There it is again. Same angle, by the way. But hey, it is what it is. Look at that. That looks really good. Obviously, this is CGI. Obviously, this is not a real vehicle. PSA, PSA, PSA. But that's the shape. That's the shape we can expect when this car comes out next year. So remember all those competitors that we just talked about? Okay, the Tesla Model S, the Audi e-tron GT, the Lucid Air, the Porsche Taycan. Now we got a new one, the Polestar 5. And that looks really nice. But that's not why we're here. That's not why we're watching this video. But damn, that light bar is good. Look at that shape. Why is this a Polestar 3 video and all they're showing is this 5? I know, guys, folks, I can hear you. If you're commenting after the fact, I understand this is a concept car. I get it. I know that. But it's safe to say that a lot of the design elements in this machine are going to transfer over to the Polestar 5 flagship sedan. A lot, if not all, by the way. But that's not why we're here. We're here for the 3, and here it is. So what we can quickly see in this upside-down shot is the taillights. We love a good Heckenblenden, okay? And Heckenblenden is when there is a reflector or light that connects the two tails. We love that. I also love, by the way, an LED taillight that is a more of a light bar and less of a pixelated LED. You know what I mean? Which this seems to accomplish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it looks like it is one cohesive piece. And it doesn't look like a bunch of integrated LEDs, which I enjoy. Which, by the way, if you've seen the Polestar 2, you'll know that that's also the case for that vehicle. Interesting that they're not choosing the typical Volvo XC40 and C40 design language where the light actually follows up the trunk. They're keeping it isolated to that. Maybe that's how the brand is trying to sort of differentiate itself from its Volvo brethren. Love this sort of like front light style, okay? Like Jack mentioned earlier, you got this sort of two-prong headlight that goes right into the bumper. You see this sort of like faux grille there, but overall, again, no pixelation here. We're talking about solid light bar-esque LEDs. We love that. Okay, another shot at the rear. Covered in pollen for folks that are in New England. Even the CGI Polestar 3 is covered in pollen. Smart Zone Sensor Cluster. This likely points to Polestar's equivalent autopilot-esque system. For folks that don't know, Tesla Autopilot is referencing an advanced cruise control that leverages lane keep, radar cruise, lane assist to emulate that it is driving itself. This is probably Polestar's system. That is a nice shot. That is a good-looking machine. And it's going to debut in October. So excited to see that. But that is not why we're here. We are here to watch the Forza Motorsport video. Literally nothing can escape the Yellow Death. Yeah, totally. All right. Let's check this out. We're going to watch this, then we're going to watch a little bit of the gameplay. Not too much. All in-game 4K footage. That is very needed to know when watching any sort of trailer, guys. If you guys are big video game people, look for the in-game footage. If you don't see that, then you know it is just dramatized and likely not reflective of gameplay. So what do we got? What we're looking at here is an Acura Daytona prototype. This is the car that Simon Pagenaud, Juan Pablo Montoya, and other folks used last year. First car in the trailer. Second car in the trailer. This is an M8 LM GTE Pro. Oh, we're gonna get DMCA'd, so I'm gonna mute this. So more LM GTE Pro cars. We got the 911 and the C8. Love that they have some sort of endurance racing in here. What else do we have there? We have the Acura Nsx. Important to note, actually, guys. This sounds random, and I know maybe this is a small detail, right? But these cars don't actually compete. You can actually see it. This is a GTD car. These are FIA GT3 cars versus these are GT Pro. These actually are wider, usually a little bit faster, which is interesting. So yeah, these cars don't actually compete. They obviously do in the game because more cars that compete in the same category make sense, but in real life, they don't actually compete. Change of weather. We love that. What else do we got? We got Camaros. We got muscle cars. We got wheel lifting. I'm excited for this game, dude, Jack. I'll definitely be playing. What do we got here? We got a Charger. We got a Cougar. We got a Camaro. No new cars here in comparison to the outgoing Forza. We got the Chris Forsberg drifting 370Z there. And then we got Frederick Osbo's Supra. Pretty sick. So it looks like they're actually putting an emphasis on drifting here. We've got R35s, Chaparrals, Aston Martins. These are cars that were available in the last game as well. The weather element is something that hopefully they've improved on, this sort of change in day. Also, the damage aspect is something that I know they're putting a lot of weight into. Here's the Daytona prototype that we saw at the beginning of the video, the Acura, right next to the Cadillac DPI. These cars actually do go wheel to wheel in combat, if you will. And we see some multi-class racing, something that the old Motorsport had as well. Old Le Mans cars, love that. Spa Francorchamps. This is Laguna. Cool. Spring 2023. Right on, right on, right on. Cool. No, I'm definitely excited. I don't think it will, Jack. I think it'll be a DLC. That's a whole new rule set. So I don't think it will. But yeah, all right. Let's go over to the fine folks at Car and Driver. See if we got any new information. By the way, guys, Car and Driver Motor Trend now under the same umbrella. BMW iX to test experimental battery claiming 600 miles of range. The dual chemistry battery pack from Michigan startup One pairs two different types of battery cells together, each with a different purpose. This is interesting. Michigan battery startup R Next Energy, One for short, claims to have a better way to optimize across all these factors. Now BMW will fit an early prototype of One's Gemini dual chemistry battery into a test version of its iX luxury SUV. By the way, I saw one of these on the road yesterday. Think what you want about the looks. It's got a lot of presence on the road. to see if the claims of 600 miles of range, which, by the way, is almost double the EPA range of the stock iX, are real. Let's see. The dual chemistry label refers to the pairing of two different types of battery cells. Zoom in here. Sorry, guys. The traction portion has cells that use lithium iron phosphate, LFP. This, by the way, is the same battery type that is on the base Tesla Model 3. Cathode, known to have lower energy density than chemistry based in cobalt, nickel, manganese, or aluminum. LFP batteries are rare in North America, but common in Chinese EVs. This is true. This is why the Chinese assembled Tesla Model 3 is LFP. It's not lithium, right? If you go for this battery, this standard range one, which, by the way, we do have on order here on MoneyShift, this is an LFP, okay? The rear-wheel drive model. They're also advised to charge to 100%, et cetera, et cetera. There's a lot of things like that, okay? They're cheap, easily available. Iron in the cathode leads battery analysts to suggest LFPs. Okay. The long-range portion, on the other hand, uses a higher energy density chemistry based on proprietary material rich in manganese with only minimal, cobalt and nickel. Interesting. So effectively what they're doing, okay, is combining two different types of battery to create for the optimal overall experience. You have the LFP, which does this sort of 99% of the vehicle's overall miles, and then you have these long-range cells that kick in to reduce the stress of everything else. One says it can thus provide a battery with energy density that's claimed to be double of those in EVs today, while focusing on a safer and sustainable battery chemistry created via conflict-free supply chain. Interesting. The iX is shown to in December. One will have moved large stuff from its Tesla. In that effort, one is interesting. All right, so we'll get more info on this at the end of the year. Pretty interesting. I hope the best. Obviously, we hope for battery progression technology. We hope for it always to progress, right? We hope for it always to get better. But that's definitely a start. What else do we got? M2 coming. Lightning lap. Okay, so nothing crazy here. Let's go over last place to car scoops. Citroen launches adventurous Miami buggy limited edition. That's so funny. No shot. That's so funny. All right, we'll check that out. BYD is China's second best-selling car maker despite only selling plug-ins and EVs. That is very impressive. Let's see that. Everati, we don't really cover. Vaporware. Is that the majority of the automotive news today? We'll look at that. Okay, yeah, I think we're cruising. Okay, cool. All right, so let's do this. Citroen launches adventurous Miami buggy limited edition inspired by a concept. Citroen unveiled the Miami buggy, a special edition of the electric quadricycle. This model will be produced in a limited number of 50 units, all reserved for the French market. Let's take a look at this thing and then let's talk about the details. This thing is so cool. Oh, I love it. The production version of the Miami buggy is not as radical looking as the concept, but who the hell cares? It looks cool. The plastic body panels are painted in khaki combined with yellow accents. Metal tuning instead of doors, a removable gray fabric roof, and a new set of gold painted 14-inch wheels with plastic cladding on the bumpers, fenders, and side sills, because why the hell not? So funny. The roof is made of waterproof and UV-resistant fabric and can be manually detached via span fasteners. This is so cute! Look. Oh, man. That's so funny. That's so funny. Let's take one last look at this thing. Gonna be going to Miami at the end of August. Thinking of renting something neat. What should I get? Are you just going by yourself? Or do you have, like, with 3 or 4 folks, Jack? This thing is adorable. I love this. Love this. Shout out to Citroen. Okay. BYD has reported a significant spike in sales, so much so that the company was among the top 3 Chinese car manufacturers in May. Data released by China Passenger Car Association reveals BYD sold 113,000 vehicles in May. That's crazy town. By the way, they only sell plug-in hybrids and electric vehicles. So they sold 113,000 plug-in hybrids or electric vehicles. That is very, very impressive. BYD, by the way, if you guys are in Los Angeles, does actually have a headquarters there. Does actually have a dealer there, which is interesting. Very, very interesting. BYD's May sales represent a 160% year-on-year increase. Third best-selling car maker in China was Geely. Decrease. Okay. BYD sold 400,000 vehicles in the first 4 months of the year. That is crazy town. That is so many cars. What is BYD's stock price? Yeah, up 30% in the last month. That checks out. So kudos to BYD. Maybe they start coming to the States. Also, I love that thing. Pull the freaking roof off and go drive around the beach. Yeah, that's what you should rent. Find a Citroen Amy. No, they're not available. Yeah, Jack, we'll check out Turo. We'll see what we can find. The wife and I. Got it. Acura Integra and NSX to compete in Pikes Peak, which, by the way, is happening remarkably soon. When is Pikes Peak? Pikes Peak 2022. Sunday. Next week. All right, let's take a look at the cars that they are competing with, and then we'll talk about them. This is definitely an NSX Type S with a lot of aero on it. This is an NSX Type S with no aero on it. Likely just has wheels and tires and some safety equipment. And then here is the Integra. This looks like a Integra that has wheels, tires, suspension, and safety gear. This is also probably going to be the model that Honda is going to race in competition. I wouldn't be surprised. And they still have the TLX Type S that they're using. This is the interior of the Integra. Looks pretty awesome. All right, now let's see if they have any details of the cars. Besides the retro-inspired livery, the car has been outfitted with a differential suspension and brakes sourced from the HPD catalog. Acura didn't go into specifics, but noted the model will also have wheels. Okay, yeah, so we got it right. So wheels, suspension, brakes, safety gear on the Integra. 2022 NSX Type S will be entered in the Time Attack 1 and Exhibition class. The car features a host of upgrades and be driven by the brothers Jamie and Nick Robinson. They'll be joined by an NSX pace car. Okay, so that was the no aero one we saw. Acura will field a pair of TLX Type S sedans. Okay, cool. Cool. Honda startup introduces Streamo, the 3-wheeled EV scooter with stabilizer tech. Here it is. This thing is cool. This thing is very cool. It is an EV scooter, weighs 44 pounds, can go 18 miles on a charge, but it has stabilization technology that makes it very hard to fall off the scooter. We'll watch a video for this in a second. This thing costs 2 G's, guys, so this is very expensive. There it is. What up, Blunden? How's it going, man? Thanks for tuning in. Hope you're doing well. Look at the stabilization on this Streamo. Pretty cool scooter. I don't know if you guys have ever used one of these, like Bird or Lime scooters, or if you have one of your own. I used to have one that I would commute to and from work in when I lived in Los Angeles. Loved it. Definitely would appreciate something like this. Yeah, we're taking this over 2022 Mitsubishi Mirage, no doubt. But thanks to the stabilization, you're able to actually have a relatively quick turning radius. No suspension on here, so it's definitely a little rickety over bumps, but look at this. It's on an incline, right? And he's standing perfectly tall, which is pretty impressive. Gotta love this, by the way. This sort of look, you know? Nothing like going on a walk with your partner, and while she's walking, you're riding, because, you know, you can't be bothered to actually use your legs. So why not just ride? Yeah, but see, oh, okay, now we're reversing, right? She gets to ride because why not? Can you imagine London if they had a snow plow attachment for it? My God, that'd be awesome. All right, see ya. Can't be bothered to walk anymore. It does fold, which cool, I guess. But yeah, pretty cool thing, man. Shout out to Honda. The Streamo will be offered to customers at 260,000 yen, which is the equivalent of nearly $2,000. The company has taken pre-orders for a limited 300-unit run. It plans to put the scooter on sale in Japan this year and to introduce it to Europe in 2023. Honda is just the latest automaker to propose a micro-mobility solution, joining the likes of BMW and Polestar. Let's see BMW and Polestars. Wait. BMW Electric Scooter. Oh, yeah, the CEO 4. This thing is infinitely cooler, though. This is infinitely cooler. But yeah, look, it's 14 Gs, guys. Base model is 11. Build your own? You can build your own scooter? What? The Mirage, the gift that keeps on giving. Exactly, Michael. Yeah, totally. By the way, I received a lot of negative comments. Not a lot. I don't know. Maybe the Mirage community is a lot bigger than I assumed. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of people that didn't appreciate the giggles that I was trying to have with that video. Which is funny. Wow. Adaptive headlights. What the heck? Seat heating. Heated grips. Holy. That's cool. Okay, this thing is officially awesome. Okay, so that's the BMW one. Let's see what the Polestar Scooter is. Three-wheeled e-scooter that can carry up to 180 kilograms. For us Americans, that is 400 pounds. Oh, so this is more for like last mile and like city delivery folks. Yeah, Mirage Mafia is real, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something on the forums. Maybe we look at that after this. Yeah, this is pretty cool. This is a last mile scooter solution. We love that. Yeah, there should be a snowplow attachment for this, Blunden. That's what there should be. That would be awesome. Let's see, actually. Mitsubishi Mirage Forum MoneyShift. No shot. Okay, that's not me, is it? No, okay, thank goodness. That would have been really funny. Okay, all right, good. We're not in the eyes of the Mirage forums. We love that. But if we go to my actual channel, and we go to that video, which, by the way, shout out to you guys for juicing up that last live stream. But yeah, where's the Mirage video? Here it is. This one was interesting. This guy actually had a Maverick on order and ended up getting a Mirage, which I thought was shocking. But anyway. Where's the long thread? You piss me off. If you don't like the car, don't review it. Period. Simple. Love that. And then someone else commented pretty much saying, like, obviously this was made before supply shortages. Does it sound better now? To which I said, no. Mitsubishi is a best car. But yeah, anyway. I thought that was funny. Yeah, I haven't been targeted yet, which is good. Which is good news. All right, let's see. Okay, so you should clearly rent this Cullinan for $5,000 a day. But in all seriousness, let's reduce this pretty significantly. This is no offense to you. Maybe you're trying to ball out. But let's see what we can get here. So a Tesla I would consider if you've never experienced a Tesla. Trying to find a Model 3 or Model S could be pretty fun. Obviously cheaper fuel costs. And overall a good experience because you get to hand it back afterwards and see if you like it. Panamera, lovely option as well. I would definitely consider one of those. I mean, a Z4, you got to love the convertible aspect, right? This looks to be a 3.0 as well, so this is effectively a convertible Supra, which is pretty cool. Corvette's always a staple, but I wouldn't do that. I would do something a little bit different. Yeah, I think the Tesla is pretty appealing, just like from a fuel cost perspective as well, right? It's tough to sort of ignore your at least it has a second seat, so you don't have to follow your wife. Yeah, exactly. I'm assuming you're looking for something fun. Jack, if you run a Polaris Slingshot, you're dead to me. No offense to any viewer that has a Polaris Slingshot. I'm just not the biggest fan. Michael says, it's Miami. Gotta go with the convertible. I feel that. So if that's the case, let's just, then I think your options are simple, right? It's either Z4 or something like a C-Class AMG if you can find it. Or it's Boxster. It's Boxster. No shot, dude. $500 a day. You don't have to do that. There's so many good cars here. You know what I mean? Like, look at this. $99 a day. You can be in a beautiful, brand new Z4. There's no need to spend. Hey, at the end of the day, dude, do what you need. Do what you want. It's a vacation. You're there to have fun. But, like, you can have a nice car for less. You know what I mean? Like, this is a nice Model S for less, So you don't need to you don't need to go hard. Like, I'm sure if we bump this to $500, okay, we'll just do $250 because before it gets crazy. Yeah, you could do a C8 Corvette, right? C8 Corvette, pretty cool. Definitely pretty cool. But, like, is it twice the experience that you would have in a convertible Boxster? Like, I don't know, dude, Really good machines, though. But, yeah, there you go. You can get a brand new Model S. So, yeah, I would probably zoom this down to $100, pick whatever you like, pick whatever you want to kind of drive. Like something like this, right? An Aston Martin V8 Vantage is a car that you just wouldn't want to own. So why not Turo it? Something like that. You know what I mean? Or you Turo a car that you might want to own at some point. So like in your case, you were talking about the Miata. Although I wouldn't recommend the Miata because you won't be able to fit your luggage in it. You literally won't. You and your wife or whoever is driving will be forced to carry it. So I'd steer away from something like a Miata. But yeah, that's something to keep in mind. Look at this, dude. This is a Tesla Model S Plaid. Okay? That you can do for $200 a day. The fastest car you'll ever rent for $200 a day. Like, that's crazy town. I'd rent that here. I'd rent that if that was here for a day. No doubt. But yeah, I guess my point is if we split the difference even and we did $150, you could probably find some really good options. Like here, look, Supra. Here's another Model S. Look at that, brand new. This probably isn't a Plaid, but maybe it is. Wait, is it? Is it? It is. Look at that. It's a freaking Plaid for $155 a day, dude. 0 to 60 under 2 seconds. Or under 3 seconds with the right attitude. Like, are you kidding me, dude? $155 a day for a Plaid? Is that what we're doing right now? This guy's got 5 stars, 45 trips. Like, that is a good price. Good price. But yeah, for convertibles, I mean, you can rock a Corvette Targa. You can rock an i8. Here, Jack. This is the link to that car. Just dropped it in the chat for you. But yeah, anyway, TLDR, a lot of good options. A lot of good options. Boxster, 147 a day. Like, yeah, you're good. You're going to the right place. A lot of really good Turos in Miami, for sure. George Kennedy came late to the convo, but if you're actually trying to rent something cool, go with a convertible. Everyone has a Model S. You'll blend in. It'd be like renting a Malibu in Orlando. Yeah. George, by the way, welcome, George. How you doing? I don't disagree with you. The Model S will most certainly blend in. There is no doubt. There is no doubt. So, I mean, the convertible options, we saw those, Jack, right? You're looking at Boxsters. You're looking at Corvette C8s. They actually had a couple convertibles in that price range. So, yeah, there's definitely a lot of good things for you to recommend. Or, excuse me, for you to rent. We saw the V8 Vantage convertible as well. So, definitely a lot of good stuff. Now you guys can see what I'm being targeted for, which is watches. Which, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, all right, one of the things that we're going to end on today, guys, the Hyundai Ioniq 6 promises to be an electrified streamliner. Let's check this out, this little reveal video, which isn't actually a reveal video, but I think it's really, really cool. So let me actually pause the music. Well, okay, Jack, let's be honest. Anything can get you pulled over if you drive incorrectly. I don't care if it's a Malibu. I don't care if it's a Model S. No, George, thank you. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate it. Okay, hold on. Let's watch this because let's take a listen. It's only 36 seconds, guys. You guys can deal without hearing my voice for 36 seconds.
We imagine. From the simple yet sensuous, streamlined silhouette. The aesthetic. The possibility of space. And the future.
Okay. So a lot of things come out of this, okay? I know you guys are saying, you're like, Thanasi, how can you riff on a 36-second video for longer than 36 seconds? And I'll tell you, okay? We all know that electric vehicles, i.e. vehicles in general, benefit from a streamlined design. That is the reason why Mercedes' EQS and EQE look like they do, because they have one of the lowest, if not the lowest, drag coefficients of any modern day vehicle, right? And with a lower drag coefficient, it means you can punch through the air easier, which means you need less energy to accomplish the same feat as something that does not have a low drag coefficient. Meaning, if there are two vehicles that weighed the exact same and had the exact same power, but one of them looked like this and the other one looked like this, okay, you're going to need more juice in the Hummer than you would in the EQS, and that is in large part due to aerodynamics, right? Not in large part. That is because of aerodynamics, all right? Now, Hyundai knows this, okay? So what they are doing to get ahead of this is conditioning you to understand that the streamliner notion, okay, the streamliner body style, if you will, okay, is very aerodynamically efficient. So if they can convey this to you in marketing campaigns now, where they say things like, you know, the streamliner is coming, the Ioniq 6 is going to be the streamliner, right? You're sort of conditioning to understand why this is the case, right? Now, what is this car going to look like? Well, we have a rough idea of what it will look like based on a recent concept car from the fine folks over at Hyundai, and that is this guy, okay? Which is the Hyundai Prophecy concept, which if you look at this, okay, let's actually pull up a better, no offense to whatever website that is. Let's just go right to the fine folks over at Hyundai. Which, if you look at this vehicle, it's a streamliner. Full stop. Okay? It's got the look. It's got the overall feel of everything that Hyundai is trying to communicate in that recent 30-second video that we just watched. If we do a quick pan around, right? Obviously, the road car is going to differ, I would say slightly, not dramatically, slightly from this machine. You're likely going to be seeing a different wheel tire package, smaller wheel openings, potentially slightly different headlight design. I'm sure this rear end will change a little bit. I'm sure they're going to try to keep as much of this rear tail as possible, but you're looking at something that is probably, we'll say 80% of the way there, right? But Hyundai's trying to condition you to this overall shape, like Mercedes did not do. By the way, Mercedes just launched their EQS and EQE without sort of getting folks ready for it. They just said, here it is, and it's the best. Trust us. And they're right. I mean, you need to have a low drag coefficient, so that overall design language is something that makes that easier, right? But Hyundai's trying to condition you to this notion by advertising it in advance, right? So that car is going to debut later on this year. It is likely going to use the same eGMP platform that the Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, and Genesis GV60 are based on, which means it'll have two different powertrains, make it between 215 horsepower and all the way up to over 400. Over 400, right? If we see the Genesis GV60 horsepower, you can tell that it gets up to over 429. We already know the Kia EV6 GT horsepower is going to be almost 600, 576, right? So there's no reason why the Ioniq 6 couldn't potentially have those levels as well. Now, the other interesting thing to note, okay, is the Ioniq 6 is targeting a range in excess of 300 miles. Right now, if you want 300 miles in a Hyundai, or if you're in England, a Hyundai, okay, you need to get a rear-wheel drive Ioniq 5. That'll give you 303 miles of range. But maybe with added aero efficiency, you can have more power, i.e., potentially more fun, although we know, we've talked about it on this show all the time, power does not equal fun. Okay, but you could potentially have more power and still get those levels of range. Now, Hyundai did not say when they were going to truly unveil this concept, when it was going to come out. They merely just showed this video. Maybe George has some more intel there that he could share with us. No pressure, George. You know what I mean? But it likely is coming soon. These are the only images that we have of it at this point, and you guys can see, like we've talked about, the wheel and tire package is a little bit different, but the lighting remains pretty similar. And if we look at the rear, okay, obviously it's not as swoopy as the Prophecy concept, okay? Not as swoopy, but it definitely has more of that EQS, EQE-like shape. Now, if you're wondering what size this thing is, Hyundai and other spy reporters have said, excuse me, that this is roughly the size of a Hyundai Sonata, which is well-timed. All right. No pressure, George. No problem. Appreciate it. This is well-timed, right? This is the same size as a Sonata, which by proxy means it's the same size as a Kia K5. And one brief search tells you that Hyundai does not plan to keep the Sonata around for a while. Hyundai Sonata midsize sedan reportedly on the chopping block. A Korean newspaper says the company is not developing a next generation of the four-door and that the current model could disappear after 2025. And this actually lines up with inventory as well. We talked about at the beginning of the show, actually, we got George in the chat. Sorry, wrong website. That inventory is a little bit hard. And because of that, dealers are able to charge what they want to charge. But if you look up Hyundai Sonatas, they're everywhere. There's a lot of Hyundai Sonatas available. If you want an N-Line, you can get it. You can go today and you can get it. Maybe a dealer is going to try to charge you an addendum on it because they can use the sort of inventory excuse, but don't fall for it. Okay? Thank you, Michael. Appreciate you. Because you can get them. See, this dealer is trying to charge $3,000 over sticker, but don't worry, there's another one. And this one's trying to charge $2,000 over sticker, but this one's only charging $1,000 over sticker. You see what I mean? Like, there is a lot of Sonatas out there, which, by the way, the N-Line, this one is at sticker. is a tremendous machine. It's a burnout monster. Burnout monster. It's a differential away from being a true sports sedan, in my opinion. But overall, a really, really good machine. But that's besides the point. This is a long-winded statement, okay, of me trying to say that this car does have a lot of vehicles on the lot, right? I'm looking within a 50-mile radius of this zip code, and there's 70 new models available. 70. Which is a lot. Let's go to a competitor. 48. There's almost 20 more Hyundai Sonatas than Accords. That's a lot. That's a lot. And I bet you there's like 3 Mazda 6s. 1. Well, this makes sense. I mean, we knew that. But my point is to say that the Ioniq 6 is coming at a great time. Because as the Sonata goes, in comes the Ioniq 6. Jack says, did you find that Ioniq 5 you wanted? I found 2. Going to look at a Ioniq 5 SE rear-wheel drive tomorrow. To me, that is the sweet spot. It is an SE. Yeah. To me, if you're getting an Ioniq 5, I don't think you actually need the all-wheel drive. I'm a big winter tire guy. So I say you go for either the Ioniq 5 SE rear-wheel drive, or you go for the Ioniq 5 Limited rear-wheel drive. Both of those cars you can get for at or under $50,000, which means if you live in Massachusetts, you qualify for the $2,500 credit, which is a check that gets shipped right to your door. And because Hyundai hasn't sold enough electric models just yet, you still qualify for the full $7,500 tax credit, which means that if you can actually use all $7,500 of those dollars, you can get an Ioniq 5 for the low to mid 30s, which is pretty impressive, right? Mazda needs to bring the RX back to compete with the new Z and Supra. There's always talks, right? And if you remember, Mazda has unveiled a new SUV with inline 6, with an inline 6 in it, right? We've talked about this, the CX-60. This is a Europe-only model. We're going to get something that is a little bit pudgier because just like us, we are, in fact, a little bit pudgier. And they have the engine now. It's a 3-liter inline 6. Let me go over the details of that motor. 3.0 inline 6 Mazda CX-60. I'd be very curious to compare an all-wheel drive EV with all-weather versus a rear-wheel drive EV with winter tires. Well, George, if I secure, so right now, actually, it's all about how they're being dialed in. Yeah, 100% agree. A friend of mine has a Tesla Model 3 standard range rear-wheel drive car with winter tires. Loves it in the winter. The tuning, I guess, is very, very solid, which allows for some steady power delivery. It doesn't just come on super fast. So you're able to actually be composed and, what we'll call reserved. But yeah, anyway, I wanted to quickly tell you about that 3-liter engine that they have, and please just show me the horsepower, sir. Wow, are you kidding me? Do they not disclose that? Interesting. But anyway, okay. So let me we're going to end on a quick highlight, or a quick, what is it? A quick view into where I'm currently at, because you guys know that right now, what MoneyShift is designed to do, okay? Well, the reason why I started up this channel was to showcase cars in a long-term review fashion, right? I don't know about you guys, but one of my favorite parts of older magazines was going right to the back and seeing folks' experience over time with a specific vehicle. So if you guys look at our channel specifically, we've covered that in detail for 2 types of Maverick engines, right? We've created over 40 videos for the Maverick, highlighting both your questions, the specific trim level packaging, Also, long term, how have things done over time? I had some issues with my Maverick Hybrid personally, and I told you guys about that. So, but this is all out of pocket, right? There's no OEM support here, so I'm in charge of securing these vehicles, paying for these vehicles, finding these vehicles, and we found one. We found a Toyota BZ4X that I was hoping to get relatively soon, and in doing so, I actually sold my previous Maverick. So right now, I'm actually carless while I'm waiting potentially for this thing to come. But we have a problem, right? Because it's been at port for over a month. The expected delivery is mid-July, and that'll mean that I've been without a car for 2 months. So I have an option. Do I wait for my BZ4X, which is a all-wheel drive version that is fully loaded? So let's pull up the spec. It is black, just like this. It has the unlimited weather package with the JBL 9-speaker audio system. And that's it. So it is fully loaded, right? So you're looking at a all-wheel drive electric, but subpar stats, right? If we compare the BZ4X to something like Ioniq 5, Kia EV6, Volkswagen ID4, all this stuff on paper, it technically isn't one of the standouts. In fact, it's actually closer to the bottom in terms of range, power, and things like that. But I think it is a monumentally important vehicle for the brand, and I think it is a car that a lot of folks are going to be interested in knowing. So we have one option, which, yes, the BZ4X was at MSRP, Jack, so that's great. So I can wait and get this BZ4X, or we can go over to the fine folks over in Hyundai, and we can purchase a vehicle that has been extensively covered already by a lot of folks, the Ioniq 5, a lot of great videos out there on YouTube. If you guys are interested, there's a lot of people out there that already cover this, but, you could say maybe they don't cover it like I do. So because of that, it's still appealing to us. And I'm interested in two different types of car here. I'm interested in either the SE, which starts at $44,000, which after tax credit and incentives, if you qualify for all of it, you can get for $34,000. Or I'm interested in a limited rear-wheel drive. Again, both of them have 303 miles of range. Both of them can be had for a good price. Now, the third option is something that's a little bit random, if you will. And that's just do none of this. Do neither of these vehicles, get something a lot cheaper as we wait, because you guys know we actually have a lot of vehicles on reservation for the rest of the year. Okay, the vehicles that we have supposedly coming by calendar year, should there be no delays. Number one, the Cadillac Lyriq. Rear-wheel drive version of Cadillac's newest electric SUV. We have one of those on order. There is a Tesla Model 3. Rear-wheel drive, standard range, 2022. This is the electric pinnacle in a lot of folks' minds, and not a lot of coverage has been given to the standard range rear-wheel drive model, which you can still get under $50,000. So we have one of those coming. There is one of these coming. For those that don't know what Aptera is, they're a solar-powered EV car company. Now, it's vaporware until proven otherwise, but I took the risk because of what I think it can do. And with one of those coming end of the year, beginning of next year. There's one of these on order, a Silverado EV, but that doesn't come till next year. And last but not least, I have one of these on order as well, a Lucid Air EV. But I ordered the base model rear-wheel drive because I think a lot of folks cover the best of the best. A lot of folks review the best of the best because that is what the OEMs give them for proper reason, right? Because they want to put their best foot forward. But for me, I would love to cover the other side of the spectrum and what I believe would be the volume driver. So we have a lot of those cars on order. A lot of these cars I'm very excited about covering for this Money Shift channel. A lot of these cars that I'm going to give, 40, 50 videos on. But until we can get some sort of OEM support, potentially, we're on the hook ourselves for all of these costs. So I'm going to try my best to secure something relatively soon so we can get back and going. There's a potential that we land a Subaru WRX in the meantime, because those are available. Anything without a freaking yoke. Yeah, George, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you on that notion, for sure. It is not an F1 car at all, which, by the way, I am beyond excited for this Montreal race coming this weekend. I don't know if you guys are F1 fans. Very, very excited. Also, I want to announce, I know a lot of folks follow the F1 XL. The F1 XL podcast, which is a podcast that I do with a very good friend of mine, Matt Gamont. And we are having a new episode come this week. I apologize for folks that haven't heard us in a little bit. I deleted by accident our last recording, which is why it didn't go out on Tuesday. In a brilliant move by me. George says, if you buy, you may see a Lucid Air before we do. Lucid has only been catering to journalists in the LA Vegas region. Interesting. George, and any of these vehicles, by the way, George, and I sincerely mean this, if any of them reach out to you or speak to you or are interest for the group to any capacity, whether it is the Lucid Air, whether it is the Model 3 standard range, whether it's the Lyriq, whether it's the Silverado EV, like literally whatever, even if it's the Ioniq 5, if I'm able to secure an SE rear-wheel drive, let me know. Would love to share that knowledge. Every sort of reporter that works with the New England Motorsport Press Association has a unique audience that could benefit from potentially looking at those vehicles. So yeah, just let me know if I can be of service. Would love to help out. All right, we're going to check one last page before we wrap up. I have a important meeting at the top of the hour. Toyota CHR rumored to get a revamp next year. Duh. The car has been out for a long time. Mini previews an electric crossover. I'd say if you keep the BZ, keep the BZ4 on order. Go buy a new WRX in the meantime. Maybe you could get 5K on it, 2-ish months till it arrives. Oh, interesting. Yeah, but then the problem you get, Jack, and I got a lot of paperwork, is dealing with excise taxes. No way, Michael, I did not stop publishing. Michael, the reason why we stopped F1XL was I had 3 conferences that I was speaking at: San Diego, Vegas, and then Boston area. Matt also had a job change, so there was just a bit of some things going on there. So we definitely didn't stop. There was just a lot of things going on for that period of time. So we will be back for sure, and appreciate everyone's support on that front. But yeah, we'll see, Jack. We'll see. All right. We got 2 more topics to get to. Chevrolet dropped this bad boy yesterday. They just showed off this picture. So for those of you that don't know, this is the Chevrolet EV Blazer, okay? And this is important for 2 reasons, okay? Number 1, they're calling this Blazer EV, which is to denote the fact that this is an exclusively electric vehicle, okay? Number 2, there have been a lot of rumors out in the space about how Chevrolet is going to revive the Blazer moniker as a means to compete against the Bronco, and that doesn't seem to be the case. They are double, triple, quadrang down on the notion that the Blazer is just a really cool SUV and not necessarily a Bronco competitor, and I think this thing looks the beans. It looks damn good. Now, does it look as good as something like a Polestar 3 that we saw earlier in this episode? No. I don't think it does. But it looks pretty damn good. It looks pretty damn good. And if we look at the details, it's probably going to share a similar platform to the Cadillac Lyriq, which is a vehicle we do have coming to the MoneyShift Crew. And that's pretty much it, guys. Like, they didn't showcase any details. They didn't talk about anything. They just showed this picture and said that it is going to be revealed on July 18th. So I'm definitely excited to see the details, definitely excited to see the price, definitely excited to see the range, definitely excited to see all of that. How much of parity is this going to have to the Lyriq EV? If at all. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe I'm blowing hot air, but we'll see. I also think that this Blazer EV is probably going to share a lot with Honda's Prologue. So for those of you that don't know what that is, GM and Honda entered a partnership to produce electric vehicles. And it is in all likelihood going to be this car that Honda also shares with their first dedicated EV in the Blazer. In the Prologue. So pretty cool. We'll see more of that in July. Let me know what you guys think about the Blazer EV in the chat. But the last vehicle we're going to talk about, and hell, maybe we're even going to configure, is the Microlino 2.0. It enters production. Praise be, we did it. We got over the hump. This car's no longer vaporware. You can configure it. You can buy it. An Escalade EV with like 500 miles of range would be sick. Jack, I don't actually think you need 500 miles. I think anything over 300, anything over 250, and to be honest, you're actually good. No one's driving more than 250 miles a day, and if you are, an electric vehicle is not for you at this point anyway. So anything over 250, in my view, would be a hit. If they're able to hit that coveted 300 mark, I think they win. But we'll see. Anyway, the Microlino 2.0 is entered production. The most expensive trim in the range is $21,000, and it fits a midsize battery. Below, all right, let's see. Can we just go to the website and do this ourselves? Micro Mobility Merino. Oh, Microlino. I'm an idiot. Configure! Huzzah! Actually, let's quick see the performance first. 230 kilometers of range, which for us Americans, okay, is 150, roughly. Okay, I don't know what happened there. Acceleration, max speed of 90 kilometers an hour. This is a city car through and through. Okay, let's try to configure one of these guys. Are you kidding? Is it not going to let me configure one because I'm in the States? That would be wild and not fair. Really? We're region gated. Wow, that's annoying. Okay. But anyway, guys, here it is. Take a look at it. It's got the same front door, just like the old Zetas. I mean, 21K, Jack, is the max price, yeah? So, like, the max price you can pay for one of these is 21K. The max. They can get way cheaper than that, but the most you're going to be paying is $21,000. These cars are adorable. Adorable. Yeah, ExpressVPN. Yeah, I know. I need an ExpressVPN code to shill you guys. All right. Anyway. Yeah, the entry level is $14,900. Quadricycle comes well under Main Street options like the Volkswagen E-Up. All trims are powered by a rear-mounted E-motor with 17 horsepower, peak 25, 87 pound-feet of torque. Top speed is 56 miles an hour, while getting from a standstill to about 31 miles an hour takes 5 seconds. The company said that before any trim can be purchased with one of 3 battery packs, but the configurator only shows the smallest battery is available right now, which is a 59-mile range. The middle goes for 109, and the top pack goes for 143. All right, not bad. I mean, again, for a city car, guys, the average American commutes under 35 miles a day, so you would be more than okay with this thing. More than okay. All right, folks. With the Microlino out of the way, we have dried up all of the car news for today. Now, for those of you that have been watching for almost the last 2 hours, you guys are absolute legends. You guys are heroes. Jack, George, Michael. Who else did we get today? Blunden, Octo Pentacle, and I already know my man Chas from Plainville, Connecticut is going to be tuning in. Thank you, guys. Appreciate everybody for tuning in. Again, I am Thanasi. This is the Money Shift Automotive News Show. For those of you that are tuning in for the first time, welcome. Hope you enjoyed the show today. For those of you that are longtime Money Shift Mafia crew, welcome back. You guys rock. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in again today. Hopefully, we have some automotive personal news for you shortly, and we can start to make videos again to cover the cars that you guys need to know about. I am Thanasi. This is Money Shift. We'll see you.